CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a major economic loss for our region. General Motors is stopping production of the Bright Drop delivery van at the Cami assembly plant in Ingersoll, a decision with major implications for the community and the wider manufacturing industry. With more, here's Brian Bicknell.
Dark clouds hang over the Bright Drop Cami assembly plant, marking a sad day for the town of Ingersoll.
I never thought for a minute it would ever come to the point where they're almost shutting down, right?
Well, we've had multiple shutdowns here before, but you know, if this is going to be a permanent closure, that's a different story.
General Motors has announced it's ending production of its Bright Drop electric delivery van at Cami. Ingersoll Mayor Brian Petrie getting word from GM directly Tuesday morning.
Devastated and overwhelmed, and I think that'll be shared throughout the community. This is something that this is a worst case scenario. Having the production ceased of the Bright Drop is it's not a good day in town here at all.
GM says the decision stems from weak demand for the product, and production will not be moved elsewhere. The company also cites a changing regulatory environment, including the elimination of tax credits in the United States.
It's 100% political. I mean, it's two things. The sales have been slow, absolutely, but everyone's bowing to the guy in the U.S. He's trying to get all the production back in the U.S.
The plant currently has about 1,100 unionized employees. Production has been suspended since May, though about 400 had been expecting to go back to work next month, with the plant operating at one shift.
We got a lot of families in there, husbands, wives, partners, both. Everyone's in there working, and now it's been kind of pulled out from underneath their feet.
Local businesses that rely on Cami workers feeling anxious.
I'm going to have to pivot now, and I'm going to have to be very conscious and very sympathetic to my current customers.
It cost about $2 billion to retool this plant back in 2021 to make EVs. About $500 million of that came from Canadian and Ontario taxpayers. Now, with no commitment from GM, the future of this facility is uncertain.
We need jobs. This is going to decimate the town of Ingersoll, not to mention the county and just even London, Brantford, the surrounding areas.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
London police say they're investigating a fatal crash this morning in the city's north end. Fire crews responded, saying extrication was required. Emergency responders had closed down a section of Fanshawe Park Road West while the scene was cleared. No details on what caused the crash or any potential charges have been released. London police say no charges will be laid related to a fatal motorcycle crash earlier this year. Investigators say the person riding the motorcycle was doing so at excessive speeds, which caused the crash with the sedan. It happened at Hyde Park Road and Fitzwilliam Boulevard back in July. In response, nearby residents launched a petition calling for speed reduction measures. Dozens of police vehicles converged on RBC Place this morning, responding to a protest outside a defense industry event. The demonstrators voicing their opposition to what they call the global war machine. With more, here's Sean Irvin.
Police with shields approach RBC Place as an anti-war protest continues. The group, made up of people from across the province, blocked entrances in an attempt to disrupt the Best Defense Conference. The annual event is a showcase of military equipment suppliers, including London-based General Dynamics Land Systems. The protesters contend all firms participating are enabling conflict.
We're here to make that violence visible, we're here to interrupt it, and we're here to demand that Canada stop arming Israel.
But shortly after 7:30 a.m., an incident resulted in police action. This couple from the Collingwood area had been part of the protest at the time.
We watched a person being arrested. He was wrestled to the ground.
Police confirm they responded as the protest escalated.
So the protest did commence quite small, but additional individuals did arrive on scene. One individual has been arrested in relation to property damage.
In the moments leading to that arrest, a large wave of police vehicles began to arrive. In excess of 25 were on scene, some blocking streets. With roads around the convention center, its parking garage, and a walkway from neighboring hotels barricaded, police and private security ushered in conference attendees through a side door. Each person passing by was jeered by protesters. This man stated the protest goes beyond the Israel-Gaza conflict.
I do have family in Gaza and other people as well that are attending, but this is not a Palestinian issue, not just a Palestinian issue. This is to really shut down the war machine.
Well, we're both 75 years old, and we really think we would like Canadians to wake up to the fact that peace does not come through the barrel of a gun, and we need to stop enabling the international arms trade.
CTV News reached out to General Dynamics officials for comment. A spokesperson returned our message but declined the opportunity. In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
The lawyer for the Thames Valley District School Board has resigned. In an email to staff today, the board's education director announced Ali Chabar is pursuing other opportunities. He had left the board following the spending scandal where top officials spent tens of thousands of dollars on a weekend retreat in Toronto. The provincial government has since appointed a supervisor to oversee the board as it reckons with a ballooning multi-million-dollar deficit. London City councillors are admitting an aggressive housing policy they approved last year went too far, opening the door for dense developments on formerly single-family properties. Daryl Newcomb has more on the unintended consequences.
If you wanted affordable housing, go after landlords and compel them to lower rent instead of putting London neighborhoods in the crosshairs.
Recent council decisions permitting 4 units as a right on a residential property and the removal of bedroom limits in areas not deemed near campus neighborhoods were blamed by neighbors around Elmdale Avenue for a developer's ability to build 32 bedrooms on this site where a single-family home once stood.
We are seeing a couple of applications where applicants have pushed right to the limit of what they can get.
So a motion by Deputy Mayor Sean Lewis and Councillor Corinne Rahman would set a limit of 2 bedrooms per additional residential unit and limit their size to 80% of the gross floor area of the main dwelling. Plus, there'd be a 3-bedroom maximum with several combinations of ARUs and main dwelling units. Several councillors admitting that their decision to lift bedroom limits in 2024 should have been better thought through.
There's no doubt in my mind that the situation has to be, or our policy, revisited. None of us were thinking of this kind of an intensification.
Definitely a lesson learned for me personally. Going forward, when I agree to as of right, I will be really cautious.
Enacting the changes in the motion would require a 90-day process that includes a public participation meeting. But several councillors expressed concern that there may be a rush of applications from developers looking to get in under the existing rules.
If there is a way for us to put in an interim control bylaw to mitigate any applications in that window, that time period.
City staff will provide details to council about whether an interim control bylaw could be used to temporarily pause the permitting process. But the deputy mayor doesn't think it's necessary.
I'm pretty confident that this fairly short turnaround can accommodate a change without a flood of applications.
City council will consider the motion on November 4th. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Private investigators are appealing for tips trying to solve a 40-year-old missing person case. No body has been found, but as Scott Miller reports, the people looking for Neil McDougall believe he was killed.
Neil and Mary Ellen McDougall had only been married 5 months when Neil went missing under suspicious circumstances 40 years ago.
He was the most loving, caring man that I have ever known in my life.
McDougall was last seen leaving a residence in Ayton on October 12, 1985. Investigators believe that something happened that night that led to his disappearance. McDougall is in fact presumed to be dead and most likely murdered, says his widow.
Anybody that really, truly knew Neil from Durham knows that something happened to him that night. He was definitely killed that night.
That is also the prevailing theory shared by private investigators with Please Bring Me Home. They've been looking into Neil's missing persons case since 2019. They believe 3 people who allegedly saw Neil the night he went missing hold the key to cracking the case.
The majority of those 3 have been extremely uncooperative with wanting to talk about that evening, which is concerning. So it could just be that because they saw Neil that night, they've been pointed at possibly knowing something, and maybe they're just tired of it. It also could be that they actually do know something.
Regardless, 40 years later, Oldreeve believes there is a strong sense of hope that Neil's disappearance will be solved, and possibly soon.
Someone who knows has already agreed to reach out and talk with us.
His family was devastated, his friends were devastated, and there are no answers. So peace, I guess, peace for those who have passed, peace for his family that's still here.
We need closure. Anybody that has lost missing people, they need closure.
Near Durham, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Sarnia police say they've laid charges and arrested a suspect through a sexual assault and child luring investigation. As Lauren Stallone reports, they're calling this a warning to all social media users about the risks some apps pose.
From different filters to streaks to a feature that even lets you know what your friends are up to, Snapchat is a go-to source of communication for many. But for one 14-year-old girl from Sarnia, it turned into something far more serious when she began talking to a man on the app who told her he was 20 years old.
That communication ended up evolving into requests for nude images. And then the individual, the male involved, started sending pictures of himself and video of himself doing various things with himself.
Sarnia police say the man started sending Uber Eats orders to the girl's school. It is believed he learned of her location through the Maps function on Snapchat.
Eventually, the individual was able to find out where she lived.
Investigators say he provided the young girl with an iPhone so they could continue to communicate without her parents finding out.
There was an interaction in the garage there while no one was home, where the individual touched the young girl in a sexual manner.
The girl's parents caught wind of the situation and reported the incident to police. The suspect was arrested and charged with a number of offenses, including sexual assault and child luring. Experts warn social media is a risky place, but when you opt in to share your location with fellow users, it raises the stakes to a terrifying new level.
Most Snapchat users are, in fact, teens, and they're particularly vulnerable to predatory behavior from adults. So mix that with a location-aware service that allows anyone on their friends list to know exactly where they are, and you can definitely see the potential for a disaster and a crime.
Tech analyst Carmi Levy says parents should become familiar with the kinds of things their kids may run into while using various social media apps.
It's really about having that mutual bidirectional trust so that you can talk about what's going on in your kid's account, who they're messaging with, and you can catch these issues before they become problematic.
Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
An anti-tariff TV ad that aired during the American broadcast of the Blue Jays Game 7 win last night got Donald Trump's attention. It was created by the Ontario government and meant for a U.S. audience.
And I even see foreign countries now that we are doing very well with taking ads. Don't go with tariffs. They're taking ads. I saw an ad last night from Canada. If I was Canada, I'd take that same ad also.
I heard that the president heard our ad. I'm sure he wasn't too happy, but it's real because it was coming from the best president the country's ever seen, Ronald Reagan.
America's jobs and growth are at stake.
The ad campaign cost Ontario taxpayers $75 million using a 1987 address from Ronald Reagan warning about the dangers of tariffs. A local cancer survivor is sharing her story ahead of a day recognizing the arduous journey for people living with breast cancer. Rita Ismail has more on her message for others fighting similar health battles.
Jen Croker was diagnosed with breast cancer 3 years ago. At the time, she was just 35 years old.
I found it right after my wedding, so as everybody is supposed to be going on honeymoons and planning their family and thinking about that, I was deciding what to do for reconstruction.
Croker says she faced several scary decisions during her cancer treatment, with little time to think about her choices. Her surgeon, Dr. Sarah Knowles, asked her a question.
What do you want in 3 years? What do you think you're going to want in a few years when all of this is this part of the journey is done. And so it really made me realize there's a finish line.
Jen decided she wanted a breast reconstruction surgery with implants after her bilateral mastectomy, a choice she says she's grateful she was able to make.
We are humans, and this is really, really hard to figure out. And so it's nice to have support of people who have gone through it.
Jen has been working closely with her surgeon to let others who may be going through the same journey know that they have options too.
When a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer or identifies at increased risk for breast cancer, I think it's a very stressful time, and I think there's a lot of decisions that need to be made. And so women are sometimes a bit overwhelmed or confused about all the different options. And so I love that we can offer all these things, but I think it's a bit of working through that with the woman and seeing what they would like to do, and providing that choice and option for a woman really helps to give them back a little bit of control.
I decided that we were going to make some cookies that represented all of the different and beautiful results that you get when you have reconstruction.
This week, Jen will be a model for other breast cancer survivors facing the same decision at St. Joseph's Healthcare in London as they host their annual Breast Reconstruction Awareness Day, also known as Bra Day, this Thursday, October 23rd from 6 to 9 p.m. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
Later on CTV News, a once-in-a-lifetime catch. The Blue Jays fan who left Game 7 with a priceless memento. Checking today's market numbers, the TSX was weighed down by losses in the mining and technology sectors, plunging more than 500 points. Mixed results in New York as the Dow rose 218 and the Nasdaq slipped 36. Canadian dollar up slightly. On commodity markets, gold crashed more than $250 an ounce, while oil fell 22 cents a barrel. A report from Canada's Auditor General is shedding light on systemic failures at the Canada Revenue Agency. It found staff are slow to respond and often provide answers to taxpayers that fall short. With more, here's Abigail Beeman.
You don't need to be sidelined. You don't need to be stalled. You don't need to be dropped. You need to be dealt with and worked with.
David Cornish is not surprised by the Auditor General's findings about shortcomings at the Canada Revenue Agency. He's spent enough time trying to get through himself.
Hours and hours, and then dropped. And the next day, hours and hours, and then dropped.
Even if you have to wait, when you get through, you should get an accurate response.
The report found during test calls, non-specific questions about benefits fared the best, but callers only got accurate information 56% of the time. Business tax questions were only 54% accurate. And at the bottom of the barrel, non-account specific individual tax questions answered correctly only 17% of the time. Put another way, if you ask a general question about your individual taxes, you have an 83% chance of getting a wrong answer from the Canada Revenue Agency.
We found that the accuracy was much higher when questions pertain to specific accounts.
Why does this government force Canadians to pay so much for such terrible service?
We are holding CRA to account. The 100-day plan is showing, I think, spectacular results so far. We've got a lot of work to do.
The government says they've already hired more employees and beat their own goal, which was to have 70% of calls answered at all. The latest data from 2 weeks ago puts calls answered at 90%. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Good evening. We've had some scattered showers and thunderstorms in the area tonight. The probability will drop off as we head through the overnight. Waking up tomorrow morning, still unsettled. That mid-level closed low will be spinning over the Great Lakes, bringing some cool air into the surface. And we have some showers expected as we head into your Wednesday morning. Gail, Rusty is the cutest little pup. Thank you so much for sharing your little friend with us. 6 degrees in the morning. Stay with us. It's going to be a cool day as we head into Wednesday afternoon. I'll have your local forecast coming up.
Welcome back on the desk now with Julie Addison. And after some active weather today, rain showers and thunderstorms, it sounds like that is going to carry us into the rest of this midweek portion before some sunshine by the weekend?
Yeah, a little sunshine. We'll see some peaks. Unsettled for sure. We have some cool air that's coming in, and this promotes a A lot of shower action at the surface, lots of instability, Carlyle. Today we hit 15 degrees. We had rain, rumbles of thunder pushing through, and some strong gusty winds. So when you compare the temperatures high and low, we're coming in a bit above today. Will not be the case tomorrow. Temperature high just +9. So some cool air on the move. Overnight in London, 6 degrees. The rainfall winding down through the overnight. Probability of showers will be dropping off, as well as those strong gusty winds. 6 to 7 degrees as we head toward parts of Huron, Perth, Grey Bruce, and if you are near Lake Huron tonight, about 8 degrees. We have a closed mid-level low that will be spinning over the Great Lakes. It's a slow mover, and it's bringing in, yes, cool air, promoting lots of instability, as I mentioned, and lake-enhanced showers. So this time of year, the Great Lakes, of course, are very warm in comparison to how they'll be in a couple months, that's for sure, and lots of instability associated with that, even seeing some water spouts on some of the area lakes. So watching out for that in the coming days. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will continue as we head through the day Wednesday and into Thursday, although the coverage will become a little bit less on Thursday. Walking out the door tomorrow morning, make sure you have an umbrella and a warmer jacket. You're going to feel that chill. First thing in the morning, it'll be a cold and damp day. Overcast conditions expected through the entire day. We could see a few peaks of sunshine, but brief, and clouds will fill back in and rain is expected as we head into Thursday as well. So probability of showers tomorrow, about a 70% chance. And then as we head into your Thursday, that drops down to a 40. But as you can see, it's still showery in and around the Great Lakes, just not everyone will be picking up the rainfall through the day on Thursday. It'll become a little bit less in terms of coverage. So your forecast for your Thursday morning, chance of rainfall, 8 degrees by noon, light showers expected, and then showery heading into the evening, 9 degrees. That is going to feel quite chilly in terms of rain coming in. We don't have a warm flow of air, so cool conditions expected. Thursday, chance of showers, 10 degrees. We'll hit 12 on Friday under a mix of sun and cloud. A mix on Saturday and Sunday. Daytime highs over the weekend, 10 to 12 degrees. And overnight lows, not too bad, around +4. Monday, Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud. Probability of showers, about a 30% chance. This time of year, it's hard to sneak away from that 30%. Anytime you get any cool air coming in over the Great Lakes, promotes this cool flow and lake effect showers develop. You see the dark cloud cover coming in. Even when we're having a nice day with breaks of sunshine, we can still see spotty showers. So we're going to hold on to that slight probability over the weekend. You'll be in and out of showers Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday in through Huron, Perth, and Grey Bruce. The weekend will feature some nice breaks of sunshine, daytime highs from about 10 to 11 degrees, back into the double digits, and then Monday into Tuesday, mix of sun and cloud, daytime high about 13 degrees. So expect some cool conditions across the area tomorrow. Daytime highs will average between about 9 and 11 degrees. And then as we head into the weekend, we will see some nice breaks of sunshine.
Thanks very much, Julie. Start times for each game in the upcoming World Series will be around 8 p.m. And for parents with young fans in the house, that could mean some negotiations when it comes to bedtime. With more on how to handle those requests, here's Pauline Chan.
Dr. Sally Kenaway was up last night with her 5-year-old nephew watching the Jays, but he didn't get to see the Game 7 winning homer by George Springer.
He really wanted to, but he got so tired, poor guy. So he went to bed in the 5th inning.
He got the winning score in the morning.
And so they updated him, and then they let him watch some highlights this morning before school.
Kenaway says she's a huge Jays fan, as well as Humber River's chief of pediatrics, and parents have some room for negotiations about bedtimes during the World Series.
Every kid is different. Every parent knows their kid best. So if a child has an important test the next morning, an important event, then maybe, try to negotiate going to bed earlier. And some kids, just the way they are, just their nature, they need routine.
For kids 5 and under, make a deal like her nephews to go to bed midway and catch up on highlights the following morning. But for older kids?
So it's a historic moment for Torontonians. Let the kids stay up, make an event out of it. They'll build memories. And you can actually use it as a learning experience.
For example, like how to handle the emotional roller coaster of winning or losing, and good sportsmanship.
George Springer got hit by a pitch. The other team was booing. A lot of kids are going to have questions about that. And I don't think that's something that should be encouraged, booing other teams when someone gets injured. So I think we need to be really conscious of our own behavior and what we're doing and know that our kids are going to model that.
If your child is tired the next day, a nap could help.
A limited nap after school, like a 30-minute nap. We're not talking 2-3 hours.
But she says fortunately 4 of the World Series games are scheduled on weekends, making things a little easier for fans and families. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Finally tonight, the one Blue Jays fan who went home with a souvenir last night, secured by simply being at the right place at the right time. Allison Hurst spoke with the man who caught George Springer's epic home run ball.
With that crack of the bat, George Springer's home run was launched into Blue Jays history, and a piece of it caught by Michael Angeletti, who scrambled to get his glove on.
I only got it in like this, so I couldn't make this squeeze. It went into my glove first, but I couldn't squeeze it. And other people trying to get it propelled it up, and then with the offhand, I scooped it.
And he says he held on.
I held it so I could have squeezed oil out of this ball.
Angeletti says he sort of blacked out, only coming to when someone behind him ruffled his hair.
When it brought me back to where I was and the enormity of the moment for Toronto and the city and the lead, and just boom, in a moment.
A moment that was caught by friends and family across the country.
I was glued to the TV, and then somebody from Montreal he says, was that your son who caught the ball? I said, no, I don't know.
Renzo Angeletti called his son immediately to confirm he had in fact caught the Springer dinger.
I couldn't have imagined with 45,000 people there, and he didn't have tickets, and he bought one single ticket. What were the odds?
After that incredible catch, Angeletti says he secured the ball in his glove with his hairband.
I've dropped a ball or two in my life, let me tell you, okay? No way I was dropping this one.
Angeletti waited after the game, hoping to see the player whose name is not only etched on the back of his jersey, but now in Jays history.
He never showed, and I didn't want to make a deal or pass it off to some staffer and leave, so I just decided to hold on to it.
As for what he's going to do with it?
No official plan. The plan is the ride. I was tired of just passively watching these Jay games on my couch. I wanted to feel something real. And boy, did I ever.
Something he'll never forget. Allison Hurst, CTV News.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.